Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Lapstown Podcast. My name is Andrea.
And I'm MJ.
And we are so excited to be back for another episode. Welcome back, everyone. If you haven't given us a 5-star review, you might want to go ahead and do that. I don't know how long this episode is going to be. I would venture to say it's not going to be like almost 3 hours like our last couple. Sure. I know you guys are all bummed out about that. Probably just going to be a normal episode length today. But who knows? We could really get to talking. You know what I mean? I wouldn't put it past us.
There's always a chance.
Yeah. Also, an admin note that MJ was smart to put in here because I would have forgotten. Our episode next week will probably come out on Tuesday morning. We'll record it on Monday night after work. We plan on covering the F1 race, the IndyCar race, the NASCAR race, but also Le Mans. And IndyCar will not be starting till like a much later time on a Sunday because the Mexico NASCAR race is taking that like usual afternoon spot. So it could go pretty late in the night. So we're just going to film on Monday night. Right, MJ?
Yep.
And she said to blame IndyCar on Fox. So you can blame them if you guys want. Another admin note is that we are really appreciative of those of you guys that leave a review. We can see some of the reviews that people leave on Apple Podcasts, and they like write very nice reviews. I will say our Apple Podcast listeners, you guys are not bringing the heat like the Spotify listeners are about leaving the review. So like take that as you will. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying it's a competition, but Spotify would be winning if it was. You know what I mean? Feeling more towards that platform, if you know what I mean. So anyways, anything to add in the admin section, MJ?
Think so.
Okay. We can quickly talk about F1. Obviously, there was no race this weekend, and there honestly was not that much drama. The biggest story I would say people are following is what's going to happen with Lance Stroll. We kind of talked about that last week. What are your bets right now running on whether or not he races at Canada?
It sounds like he's racing.
Okay. Well, I just didn't know if you believe them when they say that.
I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't race. He raced for how many years injured? I don't know why they wouldn't pop him back in the car at this point.
What do you think about the rumors that he was cussing and throwing things after qualifying last week?
That would be so... I've been watching motorsport for like all of a year now. I don't think I've ever seen a driver cuss, throw a fit, anything. No. So that would be really out of character, I think, for the sport. And maybe that is something we should like reflect on.
I think it'd be jail time if he did that. You know what I mean? Because
however... Well, if it operates within F1, I feel like it would. He did do that. Okay, last year we saw on film him throw his helmet at one of his personnel. So if we were talking about that conversation, sure. But I think you guys are just reheating some nachos that we have no proof for that I don't think happened. I truly don't believe any of you when you say you think it happened.
But I think his wrist would be too hurt to throw things.
What would he be yelling about?
I think... his wrist hooded.
You'd be like, my wrist really hurts, so I think actually I'm gonna swear.
Honestly though, like if my wrist hooded, I also would swear.
That's fair. I get that. I've been there. You know what, Lance? I went there. I've had my wrist hurted before.
Yeah, when your wrist hurted, did you say a few cuss words? Maybe in a loud tone of voice?
No, I was in middle school, so I actually just learned the Cup song, and I was like, you know what, play through the pain.
No, MJ was like, frick!
Gosh darn it!
This freaking hurts so bad!
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Yeah, accurate, biblically accurate reenactment of MJ when her wrist hurted in middle school.
Yeah, bless her heart. I think he'll be back, though.
Okay.
Well, because isn't the alternative Felipe...
I think that they've kind of moved past it being Felipe because they don't want to pull him out of Le Mans unless they're absolutely sure. So I think that they were like talking about it would be Valtteri Bottas because Aston Martin can be lent the Mercedes reserve driver because they're like a customer team. But what's funny about that is Valtteri has like a 10-second penalty from last year.
Yeah, you'd have to serve.
So
then at that point, is it even worth it? Could you just like not run the second car if Lance was... Because, I mean, what are you really going to be missing out? You're just going to be saving some parts at the worst.
I think that he's their point scorer, though.
I know. Yeah, that is too bad, isn't it?
Yeah, it is pretty rough when you look at it that way. It was interesting. I read an article, though, about his procedure. Nobody really knows what that means, and like there hasn't really been any confirmation as to what that means, but apparently the procedure is being done by the person who did his original surgery.
Great.
And right, I was like, well, maybe we could bring in a second opinion.
Absolutely. Let him try again. Redemption.
Apparently this guy is like known as like a MotoGP surgeon because they like get fucked up a lot in MotoGP, that he's like used to this sort of injury. But like from what I've seen from MotoGP racers, they also are not great about sitting things out and healing fully before they get back out there. So I don't know, maybe we need to put this guy's medical license like under closer examination.
It's crazy that they're allowed to do that with like no checks and balances. Should we institute some kind of checks and balances system within the motorsport healthcare? Because sometimes I feel like we're sending them out with concussions, clearly. We're very clearly doing that. We're sending them out with, I don't know, fragments of metal in their wrist. Like, couldn't we just... Is F1 worth it? Like, MotoGP, sure.
Stroll. I don't think Lance Stroll's F1 is worth it. Like, I think like when Max
carrying Aston Martin.
No, I know. But, like, what is Aston Martin at this point? You know what I mean? It's, like, 6th in the Constructors' Championship. Like, I don't give a fuck about that team. Like, when it was Max driving with a concussion to the point where he could barely see clearly, but it was, like, in the height of his battle with Lewis Hamilton, there is a fucked up part of my brain where I'm like, that's I get crazy. It, though. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. It's still bad, and he shouldn't do it. But, like, what... If there were checks and balances, he would just lie about it.
Well, no. I mean, that's not how... medicine works. Like, you can't just be like, I know you said that I had a tumor, but I actually don't. Like, you can't just, it's not like you have to consent to the concussion to have one, you know?
You can't. You don't have a you don't have a concussion if you just say no. If they ask you, do you have a concussion, say no. No. Well, I did watch Scotty Mac's vlog about the Indy 500, and they show him, like, going to do his, like, checkup after his big crash on qualifying day to like make sure he was good, and it was like he was just reading numbers and shit. And I never had a concussion.
That's what it is.
It was funny. He was like just kind of like putting on an act too. Like he was reading them super fast too to be like, see, could a man with a concussion do that?
Could he do that? That's what it Bob Pockris posted something this week about like what the name of the concussion test is, and it was originally like a vision test to just see if you could move your eyes across the page, and eventually they adapted it to become a concussion test, and it's like standard protocol across I think all sports, all motorsports at least. But like when I had a concussion test, that's not what I did. I had to do the little dance where you like touch your nose and
I've never done a concussion test.
Yeah.
I think that there were some times I might have had a concussion, but I guess nobody cared enough to figure it out. It would have been mild. It was a mild concussion, so I'm fine. And
just
now
a
I have
little
a podcast. Now I have a podcast. You can do
Two girls with concussions on a podcast. New brand.
Honestly, it explains a lot if you think about it. Yeah, okay. Well, it sounds like Max wouldn't have even been able to read the numbers. So yeah, maybe
that's what
maybe they should have done that test a little bit more stringently to him. But I don't know. I feel bad for Lance. It's really not worth it. But I also get it's also his home race. So there's going to be like extra pressure from sponsors and like the track and F1 and the team to like get out there and race. Like he has a whole grandstand at this race. You can't have the Lance Stroll grandstand. He has a Lance Stroll grandstand.
I would like to be in the Lance Stroll grandstand.
Can we go to the Lance Stroll grandstand? I actually love Lance Stroll fans, might I say. There's something about them that's so unshakable, you know?
They're just like, and recently they've really been rearing their heads because they're just like, why do you guys dislike him again?
Yeah.
Like, is it because he has money? Because they're like, they all have money, besides maybe Esteban Ocon. Sorry, Esteban. Sorry.
Esteban.
I shouldn't have said that, sorry.
He's friends with Lance, so he's fine with it. Like, As the like resident poor person on the F1 grid, like he says we can like Lance.
Lance goes, I'm friends with poor people. Like that.
A few poor people before, and like they think I'm fine.
I
think I'm starting to warm up to Lance because I feel bad for him, and I'm not saying this to say he like is part of the struggle. I'm just pointing out that most of the comments that are made about Lance are along the same vein of like misogynistic comments made about women driver. So yes. I think that's why like when I see comments like that, my first reaction is to just like be like, get behind me. I'm going to get this fucking TikTok commenter.
Yeah. No, it's,
you know what I mean?
At a certain point, it doesn't mean anything. Like the same way with like the misogynistic comments. It's like as soon as you get like a few like DTS fan or like women always crash, you're just kind of like, okay, you have too much time. No one in your family loves you enough to tell you to not be weird on the internet, I guess. Like, none of my business. So I feel like Lance is he's tuned out the haters, 10 years on now?
Yeah.
However long he's been in F1.
And I think that there's something interesting about haters where, like, I've told you before, sometimes jokes just get very old in motorsport very fast. Haters are not adapting their comments enough for my taste. You know what I mean? Like, It gets to a point where the joke is very old.
Motorsports, specifically F1, has just, like, the worst humor ever. No memes. Insults ever.
Like,
it's like a pathetic attempt at, like, bullying. It's like, you guys, this is cringe.
Good at it. You're not even good at it. I would say the best haters are IndyCar haters. I think IndyCar haters are quite creative and they're quite good.
I gotta be honest. I think, they are. They're coming at it from a different...
NASCAR haters, like, there's like a generational divide. You know what I mean? Like, there is some of the boomerisms that are like just saying weird misogynistic shit about Danica Patrick, and it's like, she hasn't been here for years, buddy. I mean, like, what are you talking about? But there's some young people that are kicking it in the hater circles.
Yeah.
In NASCAR. There's some young haters.
Of course. It's a diverse group of haters, yeah.
But IndyCar, I think, has the best haters. Shout out.
Okay. Shout out to the IndyCar haters. Stay out of our comments.
Guys.
Stop.
I'm sorry about what I said about the Borg Warner. I just didn't get it at the time. I thought it looked scary. I might like it now more that Alex Below's face is on it. I don't know. I'll hold out judgment. Probably not.
It gives me the fear, I don't like mannequins, so I'm not gonna like the Borg Warner. I'm sorry! Sorry, Borg! Sorry, Warner!
Sorry, Mr. Borg Warner. And also, this is nothing against the artist who makes the little faces to put on the Borg Warners, because that's amazing. A completely separate thing, and I actually love him. It's more about just the task he's been hired to do. I don't fuck with
it. Gives me, like, a texture phobia. I am Borg Warner phobic. I'll say it.
It makes me feel claustrophobic looking at it because they can't breathe in there. Those faces can't breathe behind that metal.
Like the Han Solo thing where he was like stuck. Like that was my worst fear as a kid. We're just like, we just keep talking. We're like slowly unlocking like why we don't like the Borg Warner. It's like, no, I was really afraid of being like trapped in the basement as a kid.
You and I, one thing about MJ and I, we are going to have similar anxieties. Like, we get each other going. You know what I mean? Like, we share the same anxieties. We start getting each other going. And it's like, no, you're right. That is really freaky and scary.
Scary.
Should we dwell on it? Probably.
Should we unpack this real quick?
Another thing I'm terrified of is the fucking super license system. And Red Bull applied for a super license exemption for 17-year-old Lindbald. Is that how you pronounce it? Lindblad. I think I'm putting in.
It's Lindblad is the way you wrote it. I do not know this man.
That is how it's spelled. I think I'm
then
putting
it's
in extra letters.
Lindblad. You're just moving the L. Lindbald.
Honestly, that'd be a better last name. You should fucking workshop that.
What's the hairline situation, Lindy?
Bald.
He's like, 17? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't checked in on his hairline. Maybe I should.
He is.
So he's basically like this kid that they're like fucking convinced is going to solve all their problems per usual. I don't think he's having like the most amazing year in F2, but I don't think he's having the worst year either. He's just kind of kicking it in F2, towards the top of the list, but not like winning, I don't think. And he is supposed to be there, I think, in case of a Max race ban. So I'm assuming what would happen if they got this exemption would be they would move Isaac Hadjar up into Max's seat, have Yuki and Hadjar, and then Liam and Lindblad. I think that's the only reason why they're doing this. I don't think they're doing it because they plan on putting him in the seat before the end of the season. But I could be fucking wrong because it's like Red Bull. So who fucking knows? If Liam Lawson keeps up this shit, like who fucking knows?
If Liam Lawson keeps up this shit, if Yuki keeps up this shit, if Max keeps up this shit, the only one who is safe, Isaac.
Isaac is honestly right now, like, I don't know if it's partly because he's a rookie and everybody's so impressed. It's also because Red Bull is such a shit show that he seems like the most like unproblematic, chill one. Everybody's like, hell yeah, Isaac, kicking it. I love that for him.
I do
Job
too.
security.
He deserves it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, my cat is sitting right outside the door meowing. What would you like?
Let her in. Free her. Or is it Gigi?
Yeah, it's Gigi. I think it's because there's a fire truck outside. She's upset. Don't do
I get that.
But it kind of like brings up again for you and I, like something that this podcast was founded on, which is the idea that the super license is a joke.
Dumb.
This kid has not like been winning like that for him to have a super license comparatively to like Colton Herta or something. Like it's almost like laughable. If you don't laugh, you'll cry. But I don't know. Do you think that Max will get a race ban?
I sure hope so.
I
do. I think it would be. That's what the sport needs. The sport needs Max to get a race ban. That's what he needs. And then we go, because it would have to be this next race, right? Because doesn't it like clear out at the end of?
Some of them expire after Canada, but he still, even after some of them expires, would only be 3 away from a race ban for a good majority of the rest of the season.
Okay, so here's what we do. We get him a race ban by the first weekend in July, right? That's obviously Silverstone. Who gives a fuck about Silverstone? It's also Chicago. We get him in an OEM. We get him out there with the supercars.
Wait, we're OEP Max?
OEP, not OEM. Yeah, we're gonna OEP Max. We can OEM him. You want to build a car, Max?
Gosh, he could get in that little Trackhouse Red Bull car that they got on deck. Because Connor's not doing Chicago, I don't think.
He's not doing.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I think we could sacrifice Connor for one race if it means Max.
One race
right?
with
like,
Max. Trackhouse also needs this. Think of everyone benefits. Chicago needs this.
Dude, imagine the merch sales for that. I would be like fucking, I just hit the hell out of my desk. I'm sorry to every viewer that just watched that camera shake. But I like at Indy 500, I was like, why the fuck do they have a whole trailer just selling Kyle Larson merch? But like in Chicago, I fear that you would need that for the Max Verstappen Project 91 like Trackhouse merch. I think
the best part about this is it wouldn't even be, you and I have talked about this. Like, we don't think Kyle Larson's probably the best ever. However, SVG, it would be Max Verstappen versus SVG versus all the supercars, guys. This is my dream scenario.
So much fun.
It would be so good. Plus rain.
If we're lucky, Max fucks with rain really heavy. If we're lucky,
really good.
Oh my God, could you imagine an SVG and Max Verstappen wheel to wheel in their Red Bull cars on the streets of Chicago? They'd be going past the bean. I'd be having the time of my life. I love it here. Please.
Just dick around a little bit this weekend, Max. Max, feel free to dick around.
While he's there in America, the very next weekend would be the Iowa race for IndyCar, and we would be there.
Yeah, throw him in an IndyCar, dude.
What would it take to just chuck him in? Like, he'd already be in the US of A.
Yeah, we could put him in a Honda. Just choose one. Name a Honda. I'll kick him out.
Yeah, who we kicking out? Quick. Let me pull up the Honda drivers.
Hell, dude, I'll kick out Scott Dixon. I don't want to see him.
I was just about to say, I think Scott would like give it to him.
Take a break.
Like, have at it, buddy.
We could get him. He could be the spotter because I don't know if Max knows how to use a spot. Do they use spotter in endurance racing? There's no way a 24-hour spotter.
No, they don't.
There's
have
no
spotters,
way.
I don't think. Okay, so we're looking at Kiffin. We can't kick Kiffin.
He's doing
out.
He's a really
having
good
a good
job.
time. Yeah,
he's having
Scott
a good
Dixon.
time.
He doesn't give a shit about this stuff. We can give him Scott Dixon's car. Alex Palou.
Just one race.
Oh, fucking give him Alex Palou's car. What does Alex Palou need it for?
That's true. At this point, he doesn't need. He needs to redeem himself at Iowa, though. But
does he? He doesn't give a fuck about the redeeming himself. He'd be like, talk to my fucking Indy 500 win and like my incoming 4th championship and eat shit. Graham Rahal
champions.
I'm not putting him in a RLL. I'm not putting Max in an RLL. I value him.
They're too well, but he may be comfortable coming over. Could we say that Red Bull is the RLL this year? Just with the same performance. It's like
they show up and do well, and then the next day it's ass again.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. Wait,
sorry, RLL.
You know what? Actually, we'll put him in Jacob Abel's car because Jacob Abel's been like having a tough time, and he can like have a break. And then we would have a dual Dutch lineup. We would have him and Renus.
Oh, that could be fun.
Kicking it on the Iowa Oval in a Dale Coyne. That's like putting him in a steak car, almost. It seems mean.
I would say it's almost worse. I would say it's near the bottom. As long as he doesn't like spin coming into pit lane or crash coming into pit lane.
Engine failure catastrophically after doing really well in qualifying.
Sure.
Wheels generally have to stay on.
Yeah.
I know that's RLL. They're the ones that don't know how to put on wheels.
RLL. Andretti.
We're in the IndyCar segment of our show now, by the way, if you guys are wondering. That was everything we had to talk about F1. I have nothing else for F1. Do you have anything else for F1?
No, I didn't. We didn't even have that much for F1. None of that was on the sheet.
No, but we're 20 minutes in. Look at that. This is how we get 3-hour episodes, people. Okay. So next week we have Gateway, Worldwide Technology Raceway. Now, I will say, I think it's fair to warn everybody that this is the race with the weird grid girls.
Well, okay, we don't know that. We don't know that this year. It was last year because it is the Bomberito 500, and Bomberito is a man. That's the worst.
Typical.
I hate when you find that out. Fucking Bomberito 500 is a man. And last year he did decide to bring grid girls on. It was very strange, very weird. We moved past it. Maybe not quick enough.
My first ever IndyCar race that I tuned in for.
Dude, and what a freaking race to tune into. Because, like, I just got the notification it was 1 year since David Malukas got signed to MSR.
Yeah.
So it was, like, his first race back. We had that. We had an oval. It's just, it was a good race. It was a good one.
They framed it, I think, as David Malukas' like home race. Because I think that this is like the closest that they get to Chicago. And so I was like, okay, I feel bad for this David Malukas guy. I am happy he's back. And they're like, he's about to get yelled at, by the way. I think this is where he got yelled at by Will Power.
I don't think it was this one. Wasn't it it might have been. Because this is the one that Colton Herta came from the back and then got the last minute penalty. Or wait, maybe it's not. See, once we get to the ovals the second half of the season, I'm like, I think all of them actually happened at the exact same time. But it is a good race. It's really fun because all of the bankings are different. They're different bankings.
I didn't
for
know
all
that.
of the So it's kind of a mess. It's egg shaped. I don't know. I love it. But they did change the time for the race, so it is going to start at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So don't be tuning in at whatever it was, like 2 p.m.
I think it'll be fun, a night race. I'm excited for a night oval race. How many times? That's not a normal thing for IndyCar, right?
They have like one technically. Last year they had Iowa, which was technically a night race, but only like it was only part night race. But this is like an intentional night race. They do, warning at the beginning, shit ton of fireworks straight off the jump. So beware, I guess. It's the Bomberito 500.
Who is this Bomberito guy? I actually think he has a flair for drama. And, like, I think if we could get past the misogynistic grid girl thing, like, there's something interesting there. I think he, like next year he's going to be like, fuck it, Lady Gaga singing the national anthem. Like, I just think he has, like, a flair for drama that I admire.
Yeah, he definitely does. I think he's a car dealership. I think that's what his business is.
We got to talk about, like, we had a conversation about how rich people that own car dealerships are.
Yeah.
In, like, small town Midwestern culture, the person that owns the car dealership is usually the richest person you'll ever meet in your entire life. We were talking about how Carson Hocevar, Ziegler Auto Group, his, like, sugar daddy sponsor is literally just some car dealership in Southwest Michigan. But, like, this Bomberito guy, I mean, you could be Carson Hocevar's sugar daddy, or you could have a shit ton of fireworks at the start of your own race in IndyCar. I mean, that's kind of good.
I love IndyCar. But also, just for qualifying, this is our first oval of the season. So what it's going to be... That's not the 500. First, like, standard oval. It's going to be 2 warm-up laps and then 2 flying laps to set your time. That's all it is. Everyone goes out individually. If your hybrid doesn't work, they usually just say, sucks to suck.
Rip, homie. And they, they'll just have, like, instead of, like, a timing tower showing you the order for qualifying, it's going to just show, like, the speed that they hit. And
I think it's time for the regular ovals. Speed is just for... They will show the speed, too.
Yeah.
They will show speed.
And then they'll stack them up. How do they decide what order they go out to qualify in? And does it matter?
It's reverse
preferential
entrant points. So the people with the least amount of points, the drivers, the cars with the least amount of points will go first. With the most, so like Alex Palou is going to go last.
Yeah. Okay. And are they doing the qualifying at night as well?
I don't think so. So that'll be weird.
It'll be a very different vibe than the actual race. Some people could go very fast in qualifying, and then once the temperature drops and the night race situation goes, it could be completely different. That's a bad idea, I fear.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Be sure to tune in on Fox.
Yeah, I'll be there, actually. That sounds like a lot of fun. Sounds like you're going to have a lot of people qualifying, maybe places that they should not be, and then everything's going to be fucked for the race. That sounds really fun. I'll be tuned in. Wow. Love IndyCar. Keep eyes out for engine penalties. Why?
Just because we're so many races in, and it's also a 9-place grid penalty for ovals. So that'll shake up the field a little bit. I'm sure we'll have some engine replacements with how things have been going.
Okay, so anything else for IndyCar? Do we want to move on to NASCAR?
Let's move on to NASCAR.
Okay, so we started the week off with some NASCAR Front Row Motorsport 2311 lawsuit updates. Essentially, they were under, like, a judge's order, essentially, to allow them to race as chartered cars despite not signing a charter agreement. That's what this whole beef is about if you're new to NASCAR. They didn't like the charter agreement, didn't want to sign it, but they still wanted to race as chartered cars until the lawsuit after the NASCAR season is over, because they were worried they were going to lose sponsorships, lose their drivers. Tyler Reddick, who I'm, like, wearing his shirt right now. I like Tyler Reddick quite a lot, who's their star driver. He kind of had made it seem like, if you're not a chartered car, then, like, what am I doing here? I'm not going to be every week trying to qualify as an open car. And so they were allowed to do that until an appeals court judge this week decided no longer. So right now they're still racing as chartered cars. Like today, they race as chartered cars. But Atlanta is the first race we could see them potentially have to race as open cars. They're not guaranteed to be in that race. They would have to qualify to be in that race, which is a very different ball game. Could be an issue. I think that's what we could see happen. I think NASCAR is going to make a point of this and probably make them race as open cars as soon as possible. What do you think?
I think, because they'll probably appeal it. I think they'll probably win the appeal. I also don't know if they should be too worried about qualifying, considering some of the cars we see at the back of the grid.
It's like, it's kind of weird because it probably won't have too big of an effect. Even if they were, like you said, like required to qualify.
It's the principle.
But it's like the principle of like, you're coming down pretty strong on some newer teams in the NASCAR space. I think that I don't know everything. I don't have a fucking law degree. I don't know everything that's in the lawsuit. I don't know what evidence is presented on both sides and what was even in the charter agreement. Okay, I know the bits and pieces I've heard. I will say I'd have to see some pretty fucking crazy evidence to get me to side with NASCAR. Like, I'm probably not going to be siding with NASCAR in this massive corporation when, like, I'm pretty sure the lawsuit stems from teams not getting the cut that they deserve, considering they show up every weekend, put these cars together, pay these massive crews of people, and pay these drivers to race every weekend to make a product for NASCAR to profit off of. Eesh. Tough call. Probably going to have to go with the teams here. So, sorry, NASCAR. And I also think it kind of bums me out if they do end up having to race as open cars, because I think it'll discourage a lot of people from ever sticking up for themselves against NASCAR legally again. It's like, this kind of, I think, has a lot riding on it in the way of, like, if it goes bad for the teams, it's a big dub for NASCAR to keep people in line for a long time. Like, that's like a generational sort of thing. It'll take decades before people will want to go up against NASCAR legally again.
Yeah, because most teams don't have the money to do it anyways, but then to not only not have the money, but also, like, lose your money makers.
Yikes.
Not an ideal situation. Not a lawyer, though, so...
This is not legal advice, teams. If you guys want to sue NASCAR, don't take our legal advice here. I know you guys are on the edge of your seat waiting to hear what we were going to say, but Truck Series. We had a big announcement of Ram joining as a manufacturer for the Truck Series in 2026. Worst kept secret ever? Was it supposed to be a secret? I don't know.
I think it was supposed to be, but I mean, I knew Breakard said something about it like last week, and then Michael Waltrip like fully said it yesterday on the trucks thing. And so I was kind of gaslighting myself. I was like, oh yeah, they did announce that, didn't they? And then they were like, no, big announcement coming tomorrow, 1 p.m. I was like, oh. Oh, it was supposed to be a secret?
Well, I mean, you and I get all our news from Breakard, and Breakard said that they were joining. So
yeah.
I knew this months ago because Breakard said so. So
yeah, I said, like, sounds good.
Thanks, Breakard. Moving on. They did do a little announcement. They had like a little car do a little truck do donuts.
Yeah.
With like fucking Color Run-esque type dust coming out the back.
It was kind of
cool.
sick. Yeah.
It's quite cool. You said possibly opens the door for Dodge in Cup Series. Also, what the fuck is this about Cletus McFarland?
Allegedly, hypothetically, Breakard said that apparently there's rumors that one of the car or the trucks that they would have would be driven by Cletus McFarland full time. And part of me is like, that's maybe not the best idea. And then I'm like, actually, maybe that is the best idea. Actually, with how well Cletus McFarland has been marketing NASCAR, I think it's a genius idea. Even if, like, at that point, you're just kind of cutting, like, or counting them out for the season, counting whatever that truck is for the season. Like, it's probably not going to win you a manufacturer's championship if they have that in trucks. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming they do. But you are going to get some sick-ass sponsors. So,
yeah, I think it would be good for, like, yeah, like you said, marketing. And I think there's a lot of people in trucks that are just, like, paid drivers. So, like, for people that are, like, people are, like, trying to do this, like, well, he's not qualified. I was like, what are the qualifications for truck? Like, I'm pretty sure it's, like, show up, have money, able to race generally.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm qualified because, like, I don't know how to drive stick shift. But, like, I think that's maybe the only qualification that you do need. So I think if you're good generally about, like, okay, like, first gears, you're good. Get out there. You know what I mean?
You'll be golden.
Yeah, you're fine. Like, who cares? Go for it, Cletus. What do you think that would do for his YouTube career, though? I do feel like it'd be kind of tough for him to like balance making Mr. Beast-esque type videos while also racing full time.
That would be hard, but he probably has an editing team. Like, the vlogs would go absolutely crazy. I think actually it's probably a pretty big win if you could get him. However, I think, doesn't he have like a family? Does he not have
Allegedly.
like kids and stuff?
No, I think he's for sure married. I don't know.
I know he's married. Maybe I made up that he had a kid because like everybody's having a kid right now.
Yeah.
In motorsports. Sick. Love that for you guys.
So cool.
I don't know. I think it'd be cool.
You win a race, you get a baby girl at the end. They just hand them out.
Congratulations. But think how many people would be tuning into the Truck Series. Like, just think of how many people would be turning on Truck Series on a Friday night if Cletus McFarland was driving every weekend.
It's almost like, do you want that much attention on Truck Series? Like, there is a point where I'm like, I don't even know if it's intended for that many people to watch.
You have to put up a good product if you're going to be having all those people tune in.
And I don't know if Truck Series is where that good product is being delivered.
It sure as hell wasn't ARCA, but we've done that a few times too, haven't we?
I've not ever had a good time watching an ARCA race, guys. I'm going to be really honest here. Every time I turn on those shenanigans, it is like we're doing 2 green laps. And the caution's back out. It's not having a good time. But I don't know. Interesting. I think that while we're talking about sponsors, there is somebody who brings hella cool sponsors to the Truck Series, and it is Tony. She was sponsored this week by Coach. And I don't know, you and I were kind of talking, I'm a little disappointed, I will say, with like how awesome it is, the sponsors that she gets and how much hype she gets around these sponsorship announcements. Unfortunately, though, I don't feel like it's converting viewers into the actual race. Like, we saw a lot of like motorsports girlies being like, that's so cool that this driver is like sponsored by Coach. But I'm like, did you watch though? Did you watch her?
Tune in. That's what's interesting about like these kind of sponsorships. It's like, okay, so what is your goal? Like, it's super, and I think what it probably is a little bit of virtue signaling from these big brands being like, look, women in sports. And I was like, but you're not marketing towards a NASCAR audience anyways. Like, a female NASCAR audience, like, that's just not realistic. And then you see a lot of people talking about it, and no one's, like, watching the race, which sucks, because it was a really good race. It was a really, really good race, but I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about Coach.
I heard it was the best truck race of the season. Do you agree with that?
Probably best truck race in the history of truck races. Probably.
We've been around for like a year, maybe. Yeah,
I've seen maybe 6 or 7. Probably. It was really good.
Me and MJ will be the first to admit we are not tuning into every truck race, okay? There's something about a Friday night that I'm not plugged into motorsports the same way I am on like a Saturday or a Sunday night. So like we're not even saying that to be shady against people not watching truck, okay? Like we don't always watch truck. But MJ did tune in for this truck race and she said she had a blast. I wanted to tune in just to see Carson. But he obviously did not win.
But he almost did. But then he didn't. But then he almost did again. But then he didn't. And then all of a sudden, Ross Chastain is here. And then some random guy won. And I was like, you know what? That's actually probably the best way that could have ended.
Well, we'll talk about fucking Ross and Carson many a times today. But we also had qualifying. Chase Briscoe gets pole again.
Mr. Saturday.
Guess what happened, everyone? I'll give you a second to guess. Did you guess he loses the lead by like lap 20? You guessed right. What the fuck is up with this guy? How does he keep doing this on Saturdays?
He's really good at one lap, but unfortunately that's not how racing works.
Oh, that's shady, MJ.
He is. The statistics show that he's really good at one lap. And then it's just like, okay, but now what are you going to do when there's other cars on the track? Chase, what are you going to do when there's other cars on the track? And he goes, I'm going to chase the cars. We go, no, you want to lead the cars, Chase. And he goes, I'm Chase.
He goes, oh, I fudged it again, didn't I?
Shoot.
shoot. The people on his fucking pit stand are like, yep, Chase, that was, yep, you did fudge it again, didn't you? All right, it's all right, buddy. We'll get him next Saturday. Do you think he's going to take it 4 in a row?
I don't think
Mexico
so.
City?
I think
no.
Every JGR now has their 3 in a row besides Gibbs. Or not 3 in a row, but like 3, period.
Is 3 qualified poles, but losing it in stage 1 what you want? That's the thing that I'm confused about.
Oh my god.
Is the goal for him to convert a pole into a win? I would think so, but I'm starting to think it must not be because, like, nobody at JGR is expressing discontent with Chase. You and I are the only ones I feel like that are like, hey guys, we want to talk about people who are going to be fired. Can we talk about Chase?
Yeah, no one's on his ass the way we are. People are like, we really gotta fire Alex Bowman. And I was like, Chase Briscoe, look over there.
He keeps getting away with this.
He's in the night. Let's see where he converted his. Yeah, 23rd, obviously. First to 23rd. He went backwards.
Everybody knows. I think Tyler Reddick had the opposite run today. Tyler Reddick had last to 13th. Tyler Reddick started in last and finished ahead of Chase Briscoe, who started in first, both in Toyotas. Yeah, one of them in a JGR.
He's rocking in the back with the likes of Ty Dillon, Riley Herbst, and Cody Ware.
Good job, Chase Briscoe. Good
job. In a JGR. He's in a JGR. You know who else was in a JGR? Number 1. Number 2. Isn't there another one? No, it's just those 3.
Christopher Bell.
Oh, it doesn't really matter what Chris does. He does a good job.
In a row. He got 3 in a row.
He's doing a great job. Like, he's fine.
Don't fucking talk about Sadie's dad
Stop.
like that.
He's fine. Yeah, literally.
Hey, you better watch it, buddy. Christopher Bell's fine. Okay, Christopher Bell doesn't actually have to do shit for the rest of the season. He'll come back in playoffs. He doesn't care.
Yeah, he's fine.
No, I agree. Everybody's talking about people that are losing their seats, okay? You want to say shit about Daniel Suarez? Fine. Okay, maybe. Maybe. A little. You want to say shit about SVG? You better watch it next week when we're on a road course, buddy.
I'll see you in Mexico.
I'll see you in Mexico City, buddy. You want to talk about Alex Bowman? He didn't even do anything today. He was hit.
Murdered, dude. Someone had a hunt out for him.
Hey, you want to talk
freaking
about
Cole Custer?
Yeah, he has to fucking deal with Cole Custer. Chase Briscoe's in first. He didn't have to deal with Cole Custer. And he still sucks. What about it? So we're starting the fraud watch on fucking
fraud
Chase
watch.
Briscoe.
Chase Briscoe.
Fraud watch. You know what? He's never been the same since he had those twins.
I feel like we have to explain that one.
That's for the OG fans.
Yeah. Nothing against his kids.
I think it's one of the very first episodes of Laps Down. It's called Rovin and the Roval, if you guys are interested. He had his twins, and the commentators kept blaming his bad luck on his twins. And I will say, he hasn't been the same since. So, just putting it out there. Everybody apparently on pit lane was telling the pit lane reporter, I wish I knew her name. She's not Jamie. She's a different one. She's the prime one. Why do women always have to be the pit lane reporters, by the way? I thought of that today. I just wondered, what that's about.
They don't. Because what about Jack Harvey?
What about Georgia? Who has to babysit Jack Harvey?
I think she likes it, probably. I think being around Jack Harvey would be a delight.
Okay, but I'm just saying, why is it that we've moved to a different broadcast network and they're like, we need our own Jamie Little? So they just really, it has to be a woman.
Because I think if a man stuck a microphone in my face right after I got wrecked the fuck out, I'm not being nice to him.
Okay. Good.
But if it's a nice lady with actual intelligent thoughts, I'm like, okay. I'm like, look, I'll bite.
Even if they in front of your face say, free falling in the points, Alex Bowman.
After he goes, that was probably one of the most painful wrecks I've ever had.
Yeah, he was like, are we really fucking saying that right now? His face was so shocked. He was like, you're talking to me like that? What the fuck? I just said I got hurt. Anyways, she was talking about how all of the other teams on pit lane were saying that Chris Buescher was the one to watch and he was the one to beat. Makes sense. He won stage 1. So
Chris Buescher. He was
good
also
job, Chris Buescher.
in like a hot pink Heinz car, which reminded me of, do you remember back in the olden days when they had like Shrek ketchup?
No.
You don't remember when they had like the purple ketchup and they also had the green ketchup? So I don't really know what his car was, but I think it was pink ketchup. Is this an
Iowa thing?
Yeah, Heinz specifically made Shrek ketchup for Iowa.
No, I think it's like sweet and sour sauce. I think that's what it was.
Oh. Okay, I guess that's fine. I was just hoping it was like a funky new ketchup that was gonna hit the stores soon. Because of all those tomato recalls.
Fucking talk to me like that about tomato recalls. You know that's a sensitive subject for me. Okay, hold on. I'm going to pause real quick. Okay, sorry. We're back. I just wanted to bring up something that I brought up off air. Oh my God, my husband. Honey, stop. Turn it off. God. Stop it with the dishes. My God. Glad I unpaused for that. Okay, so we're back. Off air, I did bring up to MJ, by the way, that there was a picture of Connor Zilic on a boat right now wearing a Max Verstappen hat. And I just wanted to bring it to the attention of all the podcast viewers that Connor Zilic was in Austria this week. He met Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen looked at that cup car and said, I would like to get in that, please. So, one step closer to him being OEP'd. Anywho. F1 the movie was sponsoring this NASCAR race. Is the NASCAR audience the ideal audience for the F1 movie? Yes?
I would say so, because I don't think F1 fans are. So I think people who have like a vibe of motorsport, maybe people who have like a hard-on for Brad Pitt.
I was going to say they fuck with Brad Pitt.
That's what I'm thinking, is I'm like, this is your audience, you know, straight white men in their 50s who is gonna be like, yeah, Brad Pitt is driving that car. I could probably do it too.
Yeah, they see themselves in Brad Pitt. Like, they're cool with, like, the allegations against him.
They think they look like Brad Pitt. They think they are Brad Pitt. They think they have the same aura as Brad Pitt. So I think this was a good choice for them. But I was watching, I told you about this on, like, Apple TV. I was watching The Buccaneers, which is, like, a Regency era period romance. Every single commercial was for the F1 movie. Mm-hmm. That's not the right audience. Well, me specifically, that's different. But, like, that general audience is not the audience.
There's a lot of F1 fans who, like, fuck with, like, Pride and Prejudice shit. So, like,
I mean, that is true. But I feel like when does the movie even come out? Do I have to watch to the end of the commercial to figure it out?
It's in 20 days. It's in 20 days. It comes out the 28th of June.
Oh.
We're making a video, right? Reviewing it, right?
We can do that. Yeah,
I was thinking we could go see it and then take notes and then come together and kind of review it together.
My mom really wants to see it. My mom's a big fan of like action movies, so I will be taking her.
Can you take note of what her thoughts are on the movie as well, and then I'll do the same thing with Valentino, and then we can come together. Okay, cool. Honestly, I'll ask my mom what my mom will probably go see it at this point because my mom's like super into F1 now, but only Max Verstappen specifically.
She's gonna love it.
Yeah, this is like that vibe is right on. Okay, what is this note about Chase Elliott? It says Chase Elliott.
You wrote that.
Stories? That was me?
Yeah, I didn't write any of these notes.
I know what's going on here. Okay, Chase Elliott starts going ham in stage 2. He does start going ham in stage 2. He's like passing like 5 cars at a time. Like they're literally like the number 9. Wait, can we talk about Dale Jr.'s commentary when like basically nothing has happened? He makes you feel like it's so hype. And he was like, really "Is that the number 9? That's the number 9. Oh my God, he's coming from the back." By the back, he means 4th place. He's like, "He's coming from the back. No, it's Chase Elliott." And I was like really starting to buy into it. I was like, Chase Elliott's about to win this race. We had Carson and Denny kind of going at it in like that 4th and 5th-ish spot on the restart in stage 2. And then Ross was like, I'm going to start pushing. So he starts pushing Carson to get past Denny. And so Denny's kind of left at nowhere's land. And now we get Ross and Carson, and they go at it for basically all of stage 2. They're like coming on the radio, complaining about each other. I couldn't understand a word either of them were saying because the radio is grainy as shit. But they seemed generally mad. And I thought, did Ricky pay Ross to get back at him? Are we about to see a Ross and Carson crash out because Ricky is like, I told you weren't going to win a race. Not on my watch.
Ricky's been in everyone's ear this week. They've been like, hey, if I don't get to him first, anyone here is allowed to punch the 22-year-old. Anyone's allowed to do it if I don't get to him first. If I don't get my step ladder situated in time, feel free to
go
do
at
it yourself.
I will say, though, like, just for the record, like, let the record show, I do fuck heavy with the Apple Ross Chastain car. It's really good. And
it's got like a Tootsie's tramp stamp on it, which I really liked.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I noticed that too.
It's a cute one. It's a cute car. She can stay.
I like it. And then we have John Hunter Nemechek and Noah Gragson spin, bringing out a caution. Do we care that either of them's? I don't. The race continues. We all live. Everybody's fine. What I did not fuck with, however, was the next caution that was brought out by Cole Custer, maybe getting pushed a little bit by Austin Cindric, and in the process taking out Alex Bowman, Daniel Suarez, and surprise, Chase Briscoe. This is like kind of the back of the pack. So you might be wondering, what was Chase Briscoe doing back there? I thought he started on pole. Great question. But
no, he wasn't lapping traffic.
No, he was back there, guys. He was back there. But it was like a really fucking hard hit for Alex Bowman.
It was, it was bad.
Yeah, it was, he said like we said earlier, like one of the hardest hits he's taken in his career. And he said, and I've taken a lot of hard hits. And I was like, I don't like the sound of that, Alex. I don't like the sound of that.
Poor guy.
And then Daniel Suarez, I didn't see him for the rest of the race. Where did he go? Did he get back out there?
I think he was back out there. You don't think he was? We can look, I guess. We could be biblically accurate. Give me a second.
I don't know. Daniel, buddy. They did show him spinning and they go, we'll see him next week at his home race.
That was great. Oh, yeah, he did fine. He got up to 14th, which is crazy because actually the leader of the person who started on pole position was 23rd. So that's pretty crazy.
Sorry to Chase Briscoe. I have nothing to say to you right now other than just like, what the fuck are you up to? But I will say last week we did say, where is Cole Custer? What is he up to? And somebody kindly left a comment on our YouTube. Was it Kenton Brewer? Maybe. Hi. Thank you for leaving the comment and reminding us that he is a full-time driver.
I didn't know that.
Me and MJ both texted each other at the same time and said, found Cole Custer. Found him. There he is.
So
good for him.
So why is he, do you think, a full-time
driver?
Cup driver?
I like to think of him as like he, you know how like Pokemons like evolve? You know what I mean? I like to think that he's an evolved version of Sheldon Creed. They're just there to piss me off.
I think so. There's one in every series, isn't there?
And they're both Haas drivers.
Of course they are.
Dude, honestly, he's just Cole Custer, or he's just Sheldon Creed without the glasses. And everybody knows in NASCAR the worst thing you can do is wear glasses. Because then everybody in TikTok comments will just call you a nerd.
They go, we used to have real race car drivers. And it's like, he just has vision impairments. I don't know what
TikTok sends me. Wait, what's funnier? We used to have real race car drivers and it's just a guy wearing glasses.
With glasses.
Or is it the old man sitting in his car being like, I'm about to rant about NASCAR?
Oh my God.
What's the better bowling. TikTok meme?
I think it's really funny the fact that they think that he's not a NASCAR driver because he has glasses. As if many a NASCAR driver don't wear glasses.
Do they bully Austin Cindric like this? Like, I don't think that anybody's bullying Austin Cindric like this, and he gets away with wearing glasses every week.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick never got bullied. Doesn't Joey Logano? Well, I guess Joey Logano's good.
Joey Logano gets bullied for many a reason.
The spectacles are not the issue.
Honestly, they'd probably wish he got better prescription so he could see better and not drive like fucking Joey Logano.
Yeah, that's a good point. Huh.
I will say, I did get feedback from my other member of my household that when I watch NASCAR, my Southern accent is really good because I just parrot whatever the commentators are saying. And so I will say there are times where I'm talking and I'm like, am I Dale Jr.?
I'm really good. Dude, the way Dale Jr. says Byron, you go, Byron?
No,
Byron?
Byron! Byron's here! I'm like, fuck Byron. Fuck not Byron. No.
It's always staccato every time he says it. It's like he's punching that. It's really good. Dale,
you better wake up. No, that's
don't
how
ever change.
You up. That's how you wake up from your stage 2 nap. Byron. It's just
God,
a punch
it's
in the
so
throat.
good. I feel sorry to anyone who listened to that. That must have been alarming for a second.
So then we have Ryan Blaney's spin. He's back on his bullshit. Ryan Blaney back on his bullshit, spinning in pit lane. But it's so funny because the cameraman wasn't pointing to him, and they were like having a full other conversation just back on how much we love Dale Jr. He goes, "Hey guys!" He was like trying to get everybody's attention, and you could tell he did not have the talking spoon. Okay, so he felt really bad for interrupting. He's like, "Hey guys, Ryan Blaney's spinning." But what is up with Ryan Blaney? Is he gonna just like win? He's like, thank God I won that one race because that is never happening again.
What? Someone jinxed him. Someone's done something to him. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. It's always that fucking yellow ass Menards car doing something.
Menards car.
So then, okay, we have Ross and Carson going at it for a bit longer. Byron won stage 2. Barely. He had Austin Cindric and Carson Hocevar on his ass. And I have to say the last 10 laps of stage 2, I literally texted you and I was like, I am having the most fucking fun of my life. Like, it was a lot of like trading places back and forth. People getting a really good run on everybody, but then like somebody else getting an even better one. And you text me back, I love NASCAR. So I don't know. I was having a great time at this race. And I think at this point we decided that if Jeff Gluck's good race poll isn't 100%, then you guys have lost your damn minds. Okay,
you guys don't lack fun. Good racing. Everyone go vote.
Everyone go vote. Go be part of democracy and make your voice heard in the Jeff Gluck fucking good race poll. Can't wait to hear about it on the teardown. I will say stage 3 I had less fun. Okay, because we were getting into feel-saving shit. And I think that it's important that we just, like, get this out of the way. I feel like I don't like the feel-saving stuff. I think it's boring. I think it's, like, I don't care. Like, I don't like to hear the radio messages about fuel savings. And you said you think it's because I'm an F1 fan.
Yeah. I think the concept of fuel may be new to you and may just be taking you off guard a little bit.
I just think it's like, I want to go fast. Why are we doing this?
Why can't we have unlimited fuel? Get a second gas tank in there. Figure it out.
I just don't like this. I think it's boring. And I think it was extra frustrating because Carson was like getting the shittier end of it. Like Carson Hocevar was leading and they were like, you're not going to be able to fuel save. There's no fuel saving that can help you. There is nothing. You are going to have to pit. And then you see Kyle Larson fucking around in 3rd place, getting like 6 miles per gallon. I don't know. Whatever the burn bar looked like, it was looking good for Kyle Larson.
He was benefiting heavily from running 3rd. And we kept hearing, I hate hearing this, well, if there's a caution, it's like, okay, we can't bank on a caution. But it was...
Clearly.
I thought it was interesting or entertaining, however you want to say. Just when people started admitting that they fully didn't know if they could make it or not. Being like, I'm actually not sure what you should do right now. And it's like, hey, babe, that's your job.
No, they are
job
like
is
really
that.
loose and fast with the fuel math, which is confusing to me. I think it's because... Okay, they don't know how much fuel actually got into the car when they're refueling. It is funny to me, though, I guess, as an F1 fan, because, like, the math is so mathing in F1. Like, they have everything in F1 figured out down to, like, the 500th decimal place. of like what's going to happen. And then in NASCAR, they're like, okay, can we like double check the math? Okay, like let's pretend, like, what is the math equation if hypothetically we forgot to fuel the car? Because what if we did?
Yeah, there's a
like,
lot.
I'm like, what do you mean?
There's a lot more going on with the fueling. I don't know. I think it's interesting. I like the fuel saving. I wish we had a burn bar. I was telling you in IndyCar, because I sure would love to see Scott Dixon compared to literally anybody else on the field.
That's like what pisses me off is I think you just like it because you are a Scott Dixon fan. And you go, I love to hear the words fuel saving. You go, who's going to win?
I wouldn't have an appreciation for fuel saving if it weren't for Scott Dixon. I'd kind of be like, okay, well, just, I don't know, like figure it out, like push the gas or don't. But now I'm like, actually a race could be won based on if the car has gasoline in it or not.
And we've also never established either, like, apparently nobody actually really fully knows what's going on with Scott Dixon and his fuel saving, right? Like, it's his little trade secret.
It's between him and God. Yeah.
So, like, that also kind of pisses me off a little bit. Like, I love Scott Dixon, but I'm like, what do you mean, fucker? That you don't even... This isn't even a known science. You're just, like, fucking around in a different realm of fuel saving. Like, that makes me mad, too.
Like, spidey senses for fuel.
Get the fuck out of here.
You can't replicate it. Except for
Scott
Kiffin Simpson has started to kind of... I don't know whether it's osmosis, whether they're saying some secret words to him and, like, turning on the Winter Soldier or something, but it's working.
You know what I think we need to do? Because I'm starting to feel like Spire is not a serious place right now. Like, they just make me mad every week with, like, the way that Carson Hocevar could have won, like, 5 fucking races this season and hasn't because of just random shit happening. I think that Carson needs to learn how to do Scott Dixon-esque fuel saving, like, just to, like, square one circle. To be like, you know what? If Spire fucks me over and I have to fuel save, I need to know how to do some Scott Dixon shit. So I think that we need to send him to summer camp or some shit with Scott Dixon. I think him and Kiffin Simpson need to, like, do a Scott Dixon camp.
I mean, I would support that. He could also benefit from just learning how to make sure his engine doesn't blow up and that his rear tires are just, like, good.
Yeah, Spire Motorsports is going to a different fucking summer camp to learn how to build a car and not piss me off. I'm at that summer camp being like, nope, are you guys listening? Fucking take notes, please. I don't know. I'm getting mad that Carson did not win this week or the last time he was running in second. It's just getting to a point, you know what I mean? Where I'm like, put him in a good car or something, please.
He's in a good car. And I was thinking, because we've kind of talked about, like, you know, what if we just told Mr. I'm going to get pole and end up 23rd? What if we just told him to take a fucking hike and then put Carson Hocevar in that car? But I'm also like, if Carson Hocevar is doing this well in a Spire car, why move him?
Because the car keeps blowing up.
Well, but, I mean, he's going to be driving a car that could potentially blow up no matter what. I mean, the Penske's blow up. Like, I don't think...
fuck with them either.
I don't think Spire at all is the issue. I think it's genuinely just bad luck he has had. Even in the truck race, he had bad luck. Because it's not like he's accidentally sending it into a wall. It's not like he's losing a battle with someone. His car blow up. Sometimes car blow up. And then his...
Well, today it was a fucking tire.
And so was it yesterday. So it was yesterday. So it's like...
He's had 2 tires blow up this weekend.
Yeah. Bless his heart. Maybe, hey, have you ever tried not using your back tires as much? Just, like... lean forward in the car. Put more emphasis on the front. And just let the back breathe.
Lean with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm getting kind of mad. I agree. Maybe moving teams isn't the best, but, like, it is getting to a point. Like, I don't know if it is, like, a karma sort of situation. Like, maybe he does have bad karma because of allegedly fucking breaking the unspoken rules of racing about how you're not allowed to do that to Ricky Stenhouse, or else everybody's going to continue to talk about it on the broadcast for a full fucking week. But I'm just like, okay, is he good now with karma? Like, are we good? Can we just, like, move forward now without all this bad shit? He had 2 tires blow up.
He needs one more P2, and then I think he can win.
What's wrong with you, MJ?
Everything's happening in threes. think about it, Andrea. The signs are in front of us.
Okay, whatever. Okay, there was also Todd Gilliland earlier than this point had also blown a tire. Nobody cares. SVG, they kept saying on the broadcast, is finally figured out.
He was doing such a good job. You know where he ended up? P19, which is crazy because the person who started on pole for this weekend actually ended up in P23.
I also, around this time, so we were talking about people that are fuel saving. We have William Byron, who's fuel saving. We have Kyle Larson, who was fuel saving, but also was kind of having a battery issue and started to kind of fall back. And then we had Denny Hamlin, who was told, fucking send it, you're fine. And then we were also told that Ty Gibbs was like kind of teetering on fuel saving, not fuel saving. They didn't really know. They were like, you could probably send it. It might be close. I don't know. So I think he kind of ended up fuel saving a little bit.
Yeah,
but something they mentioned is that he was 22 years old. And I'm going to admit right now, I did not know this man was 22 years old. I thought he was like 26 or something. Like I thought like he was the same age as me. Now that I found out he's 22 years old, do you guys think that maybe you guys are all a little bit too mean to him? Like, I'm going to speak up and speak out. Like, I think that's insane the way you guys talk about this 22-year-old kid. And then I saw him in his post-race interview, and I was like, this is like a child.
He's
you guys
just
are
a
yelling
baby.
At a child?
Him and Carson are just a babies.
Just a baby. You
not
guys
to
are like, he's
infantilize these grown-ass men, but it's just like...
you guys they talk about him not having a win is as if like it's like the most insane thing you've ever heard. And it's like, it's a little bit more believable once I found out he's 22.
Yeah, he hasn't been here that long. On Earth.
On Earth. He just started being able to go out to a bar, guys. Like, go easy on him. A little. And he got second. No, because Chris Buescher got second.
Who? Oh, yeah. The pink guy.
The fucking Shrek ketchup guy.
Hell yeah.
And then Denny Hamlin ended up winning. Okay, you tuned out like pretty fast after the race because we were getting set up to record, but I love the post-race show. I'm so glad. What a day to tune in for these post-race celebrations. It started with a Yahoo on the radio.
That was good.
Which I'm like, that's in his contract for sure. There's no way Denny Hamlin did that of his own fruition. Like, it kind of felt forced. You know what I mean? But then he got out of the car and I was like, maybe it wasn't forced. Like, maybe he is just buzzing. Because then he did the I beat your favorite driver thing. He did the I beat your favorite driver and they were like, which one? He was like, all of them.
All of them.
And then he walked back to his car. While he was walking back, he sign languaged with his hands, OU. Which I was like, that's crazy. You're going to be fucking killed. You can't do that.
Did he just discover college football?
Yeah, like this year he decided
because he did the horns down thing, which I'm like, obviously, like fucking horns down, like for sure. But I was also like, why are we picking a fight with the college football right now?
I don't know. I think he just does it to rile people up. You know what I mean?
Okay. You gotta stop booing him. He likes that.
Yeah, no, he's like literally into being bullied.
He likes that, guys.
Every time you guys boo him, he gets off on it. So just stop, maybe. It's weird for all of us. And then he decided to continue to do some victory laps and some burnouts. And he kind of, I think, ran out of fuel and also kind of dug himself into the grass. So then the tow truck came to tow him. But then he was like, don't tow me, just push me. So he got pushed by the tow truck all the way back to victory lane.
That is very funny.
And then I feel like it was like he was giving us like a full set of Denny Hamlin Fortnite emotes. You know what I mean? Like he was just like doing all of them.
That's
like,
a perfect way to describe that.
Speed running Denny Hamlin Fortnite emotes.
That's a really good way to describe exactly what he did. If he had the flag there, that would have just put a little bit.
That would have been good. Yeah. And then just another shout out that I wanted to give because I am wearing my Tyler Reddick shirt. Tyler Reddick raced from the back to 13th. And then we also had another top 5 finish for Bubba Wallace. Delightful. Wow. No wins for 23XI still though. But I think that this is a fun way to end a weekend. They could have made the story all about this 23XI lawsuit thing. And Denny Hamlin was like, I'm going to win.
I was wondering if are they not allowed to talk about it on the broadcast? Because we only talked about the Carson Hocevar thing, and I was like, Dale, I think there's one other thing that happened this week.
So they did do like a little, during the pre-show, they did like a here's the headlines from this week. And they talked about the Ram announcement. They talked about the 2311 lawsuit, just like a small little thing. And then they went back, literally were like, and the biggest story this week is about Carson Hocevar. And I was like, for fuck's sake, people, please, please. But they didn't mention it. I do think it is weird, though, when like they continue to talk about the things they talk about are so strange to me. They brought up probably 100 times that Denny is still on baby watch. And I feel like we have not talked about how Tyler Reddick had a whole ass baby last week.
Yeah, they mentioned it like once, and I was like, oh yeah, he did, didn't he?
Like, they literally kept talking about baby watch for Denny. And I was like, yeah, but a baby came into existence. Watch this. They had a baby.
That's not as fun.
Tyler Reddick.
It's like a tornado watch versus like, oh, the tornado's here. It's like, I was having more fun when I was looking outside and seeing all the clouds and things, but now that the tornado's here, I'm like uninterested, you know?
Well, maybe they also like were like, well, he did name the baby rookie, so best not to talk about it.
After his teammate, Riley Herbst.
No, he's literally trying to be like, fuck rookie of the year. It's going to me.
It's going to the baby. That's maybe the best place it should go at this point.
No, I think SVG finally figured out ovals.
He did finally figure out ovals. And I like that every single weekend they make a point to point out that something's clicking for him on ovals. It's like, well, I think...
What's more fun, an SVG oval watch or a Robert Schwartzman oval watch?
Oh, they're both... Well, but...
Really fun.
They're very, very fun, but I do think Roberts are kind of sad, usually. They do get a little sad sometimes. Right. And people get hurt.
His entire pit crew.
Right. SVG's never hurt anybody. He just went too far. It was a broken toe, is what the closure was. Robert just kept going, I don't think he's hurt too badly. And I was like, Robert, you can talk to them, you know? You can talk to the pit crew. Even if you don't know their names, just introduce yourself.
He's not hurt that bad, I don't think. I think I saw him around. Oh, it's a different guy? Oh, okay.
We were like,
he's fine, sure.
Everyone's vitals were good. No one died, so...
Yeah, no, SVG's something. He also at practice this week had like a tire blow, and he decided to ride around on the grass to prevent like the underside of the car getting hurt. Yeah. And then they were like, he actually is probably hurting it more. And I was like, no.
Yeah, they couldn't quite decide if it was a good idea or not. And I was like, it's not about whether it's a good idea or not. It's the fact that he had an idea.
Honestly, I thought we reward creativity in this sport above all else.
This is an engineering series. That was innovative.
Is that like a supercars thing? Do you think maybe he like learned that in supercars and now they're acting like it's like an innovation he came up with?
Maybe. I don't think I've ever seen it. Yeah. He brought it over. It's a cultural thing.
It's an import. There's a tariff. Anyways. Anywho, we're adding another category onto the podcast this week, guys, because we're only at 1 hour. Like, we're only at like 1 hour and 10 minutes. So this is a slim episode.
Yeah, I can try to draw this out just as long as possible. Something I don't really know anything about. I don't know if y'all heard, but there's this little race that goes on. It's the big brother to the Petit Le Mans. It's called Le Mans. Happens in France.
Le Mans. Trigger warning, France.
Trigger warning. But I don't know anything about WEC. I don't know how much you know about WEC.
I know about as much as watching Le Mans last year.
Perfect. That's also where I'm kind of rocking with.
Yeah, I did watch all of Le Mans last year, except for the 6-hour rain delay, so not all of it. So I lied right off the bat.
I don't think I might have watched last year. I for sure watched the year that the NASCAR was in it.
Okay.
Whatever year that was.
Good enough for me.
That's all I got. So I just went through and got some of the basics of what you should know as a casual viewer of the 24-hour. As if there's anything casual about watching a 24-hour race. Is it casual really now?
Is it?
Is it? So there's 3 categories. That's something about WEC is there's 3 categories.
Step
they compete. Step 1, 3 categories. They're going to be competing within the categories, but also technically they compete overall. But we're more so focusing within the categories. We have your hypercars, your LMP2s, and your LMGT3s. And you may be thinking, what does that mean? What do those mean? So your hypercars, that's going to be like your Cadillacs, your BMWs, your Porsche Penske's, and those are the prototypes and the production-based cars. And they're also going to have hybrids and non-hybrids. So there's like 2 categories within this category.
I don't really feel like, I feel like last year that wasn't that brought that important to me as a viewer. I just kind of grouped them all together as a viewer and just like, I'm like, this is the hypercar category.
I mean, maybe.
As a viewer.
Sure.
It's probably important to people that are like clocked in.
Yeah. You'll notice because some of the cars are going to be better than the other cars within the hypercar category. But this category is reserved for professional drivers. So we're going to have professional and amateur drivers on the grid. These are just going to be your professional drivers. This is also what the broadcast is going to talk about most of the time, is your hypercar categories.
They're usually the ones that are coming out in front of that like overall competition.
Because they are significantly faster than all the other cars. They go 330 kph. I converted it, don't you worry.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know what that means.
205 miles per hour is their top speed. 680 horsepower. I tried to look up because I wanted to compare it, because horsepower means nothing to me unless we're watching a horse race.
People complain
Unless we're
about horsepower.
That's a good point. So I was trying to figure out exactly what the horsepower is in a NASCAR. Couldn't really figure it out because everyone offered something different, and then a lot of it was just like, well, it should be like 9,000. So I don't know. Could be fast, could be not fast.
I would prefer if it was infinity, probably, but
how much horsepower could we put in a car? That's the question. Yeah. So that's your hypercar category. Some notable people driving almost all of the Formula E grid is in the hypercar category. Like every single not every single. I counted like 10 Formula E drivers. So we've got them. We've got
Kevin Magnussen.
Yeah, he's going to be in a BMW, which I know they have kind of a reputation in WEC.
I think the reputation is that of Kevin Magnussen. I think he found the perfect team for himself.
Yeah, they're just kind of like dicks, even to each other.
I think that's fun. I like that energy. Can I say, like, a lot of these people, I just kind of like saw them also at the Rolex 24. And I think that I was like, I get it. Yeah, they're kind of just fucking around out there a little bit. And, you know, if penalty points were a concern, I would also want Kevin Magnussen on my team. Getting those penalty points.
Yeah. Racking up as many points as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's also where like Felipe Drogovic, Fred Vesti, who are in the same car. So that's why I was really stressed for a minute when they were like, Felipe might do the F1 race. And I was like, fuck, Fred Vesti gets screwed over
again.
He's supposed to
get a podium. No, I think that Cadillac also has a reputation, though, right, for having bad luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Ferraris are quite good. And they have that one ex-F1 driver with the hair. And yeah. We have Jenson Button, also in a Cadillac. Jenson Button, I think, fucks with Le Mans too. He was in the
NASCAR car. I don't know if you guys remember.
He really likes it.
Car.
We also have Andrea's friend from college's brother. He's in the hypercar category, so keep an eye out for him.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Keep your eyes peeled for Andrea's friend from college's brother. Yeah. Good for him.
Not specified.
Not specifying the team. Don't want to dox him, you know what I mean, as my college friend's brother.
That's getting a little too close, yeah. You don't want to give up.
Getting too specific, you know what I mean? I don't want you guys to figure it out. Anywho. And then the Penske Porsche team won the Rolex 24. And their asses are going to be there.
Porsche. Apparently the Penske Porsches kind of do very good quite frequently.
Fuck, I hate when you say that. Penske's are going to do good.
We got to get the Penske's out of motorsport. What has Penske ever done for motorsport? And then we have the LMP2 category. That's going to be your IDEC, your IDEC, and United Autosport. IDEC, IDEC, whatever. That's where Logan Sargent was supposed to race until he
decided he doesn't want to do anything. I don't know what he's up to.
He just wants to live a lavish lifestyle. No one wants to get up and work anymore.
Nobody wants to work these days. I'm looking at you, Logan Sargent.
But these cars are going to be your like prototype cars. They run on Goodyear tires. We're going to have professional and amateur drivers. So maybe you one day could race in Le Mans. This could be you.
This could be you.
And these cars go slower than the hypercars. They go 315 kph or 192 miles per hour. Notable drivers you'll see here: Jamie Chadwick, Pietro Fittipaldi, Teddy Porkchops, all the good ones.
Yeah, they're all there.
They're all there.
We're also, like, honestly, it's important, like, just cheer for Jamie Chadwick because everybody loves Jamie Chadwick. And then shout out to Podium Pop. We're going to probably be cheering for Pietro because it's really important to Celine. So everybody clock in for your Podium Pop friend of the pod hours and cheer for Pietro.
Cheer for Pietro. And then the third and final category, we have the LMGT3s, which that one really fucks me up because all of the letters sound the same in my brain. Like the Iron Dames. That's who I think is probably the most popular car that's going to be in there. But the GT part of the LMGT3s is their grand touring cars. So like you'd see them in the GT3 category, obviously. But they're production-based sports cars modified for racing. So they're going to look more like a car than like the fuck-ass little LMP2s, which we love.
Yeah, the LMP2s, I will say, if you've never watched any sort of endurance racing or like WEC or anything, those cars look fucking weird. Okay?
They look like
they don't
little
look
spaceships.
Right.
Yeah, they don't look like they could be on a road.
Well, except for, isn't Spike an LMP2? Okay, so that's the only one that looks nice to look at.
Well, it looks purple.
Because he's a purple dragon.
Yeah, but he won't be here. I think, isn't that just IMSA?
I think he's there.
I don't think he is here.
I think I saw that on the stories that he was there.
He is? I mean, I can look real quick.
Guys, if Spike's not there, we should honestly
there is an AO by TF.
Well, yeah. So I saw it on the TF's story because I followed TF because they're the ones who did the SVG, Connor Zilic, Shane, I already said Shane, Scotty Mack car at Rolex. Yeah, I don't know who TF be out there. Is, but I fuck with them heavy.
I don't know what TF stands for either, but they work with Trackhouse. There's 2 Americans driving the car. So maybe we will keep your peepers out for the Dragon. But the LMGT3s, that's also going to be amateur and professional drivers. They go the slowest of them all, 300 kph or 186.4 miles per hour, and they're on Goodyear tires. I just think it's interesting that we're running 2 different brands of tires. I don't know. I thought that it sparked my interest. What can I say?
It's just for funsies.
And this is where we're going to have Valentino Rossi and the Iron Dames. Obviously.
Yeah, I just clock in to cheer for the Iron Dames, but a lot of people also cheer for Valentino Rossi.
He's really good. It's been really fun to watch him just do shit outside of MotoGP. He also did that race earlier in the season, and nope, I'm not going to remember it. Never mind. We better move on. I got to save face.
What did he do?
In Australia. Adelaide.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a weird little race that we watched. He crashed last year. Well, he didn't crash last year. His teammate crashed last year while they were competing in Le Mans, and I think he was on track for a podium. And so I think a lot of people are looking to him this year to get his Le Mans win because he's really been wanting it for a couple years now. So, but we're of course cheering for the Iron Dames, who I think also had like a mechanical issue or something last year at Le Mans. But I remember staying up quite late to watch the Iron Dames because they were also on track for a podium last year. So I don't know. That's like, I think, I don't know, like last year I tuned in for all of the 24 hours except for the rain delay. That is something worth noting because weather in France is a concern with Le Mans. It probably will rain at some point during the race. And if the rain gets bad enough that there is really bad visibility, they will go into a safety car sort of situation. And you might be thinking 6 hours behind a safety car. Yes, they will switch drivers, they will refuel, they will put on new tires, they will do the whole shebang behind a safety car for 6 hours. If you feel like we're heading in the direction of a 6-hour safety car, I encourage you to go to sleep and just wake up the next morning and see who wins. I also found last year was really fun to have the timing sheets up on, like, if you just go to like Le Mans live timing, they have the timing sheets because, like MJ said, they will focus a lot of the coverage on the hypercars because those will be the cars like actually leading the race. It is hard sometimes to keep a track of, what is Pietro Fittipaldi doing back there in the LMP2 category, or like what are the Iron Dames up to, because they won't get as much like TV coverage time. But if you guys are watching Le Mans, we would love to hear who you guys are cheering for in Le Mans. And we'll talk about it on the next podcast, like what our thoughts were on Le Mans and like talk about the results. What else do we need to talk about Le Mans? Do you want to talk about this balance of performance thing? I think it is interesting.
I wrote it down because I hear it all the time. Like my WEC mutuals, I see you complain about I don't know if it's BOP or BOP. I'm rocking with BOP. I'm going to call it the BOP.
The BOP house.
The BOP house.
The BOP house.
When your car's too good, you have to go to the BOP house. But if you hear that BOP, balance of performance, it's how the FIA makes sure that the racing is equal, kind of. So like if a car is doing really, really well, they'll kind of make modifications to the car, like they'll add weight to it or something so that it's racing more on an equal level so that you don't get, it is an engineering series, but it's not like an F1 where it's like, no, we fully will allow Max Verstappen in a Red Bull just to like run away with it. It's just to keep things equal. However, this is a point of contention in WEC from what I learned from Reddit, because it's not super regulated, like the rules in which they're gonna like add weight to your car or change the power of your car. So a lot of people kind of argue about it from what I've seen. So that's fun. So if you are looking for something to argue about while watching Le Mans as a new fan, you can always just go, should we talk about the BOP?
Yeah, just bring it up in conversation and see what happens.
Just see. Be like, well, if it weren't for the BOP, and then just like leave it. I'm 100% sure they probably don't call it the BOP. I couldn't figure out which way they called it, but I think BOP is significantly funnier.
I think it is BOP. I think I remember around the Rolex 24 listening to Off Track and hearing James Hinchcliffe talk about BOP type stuff and how it affected. They do something similar, I guess, for whatever category he was racing in for the Rolex 24. Because he was in like a McLaren, I think, or no, he was in a Lamborghini this year. In the past, that PAF Motorsports car has been in a McLaren, but he was talking about like some of the differences they had to make to like their pedals and stuff like that because of BOP balance of performance stuff. Yeah, honestly, I was thinking about it this week. I think there's like different stages you go through of like joining a new motorsports series as a fan. And the first time is like, I'm just watching for like fun, just seeing what's going down. And then you maybe have some people you cheer for and stuff. But the third phase of being a motorsports fan is when you finally know enough, you feel like you can argue about shit. And like you and I recently have like joined that journey as NASCAR fans. Like I feel like we can argue about shit now.
I think that's a horrible example because we off the bat were starting shit.
Okay, yeah. But like I would like to be able to get to the point with WEC or endurance racing or whatever to be able to be like, yeah, let's fucking talk about the BOP.
You guys want to talk about the BOP?
So last year I watched Le Mans just to watch it. This year I'm going to watch it to like cheer, I guess, for the people that I want to do well. But next year, I'm putting you guys all on watch right now. Next year I'm coming out swinging. I'm going to be like, let's fucking talk about the BOP. I want to argue.
Talk about it.
So you guys hop on the Le Mans train. And I feel like people love Petite Le Mans too. So this is like good for you to like get into it so that you can watch Petite Le Mans.
I loved like, Petite Le Mans.
Yeah.
That changed my life. You know? Scott Dixon drove. Changed my life.
Love Scott Dixon.
But Yeah, that's basically all you need to know. 24-hour race. When the clock strikes 24 hours, that becomes the final lap. I always have wondered that, where I'm like, does it
Do you
strike
just stop
24
where you
hours
are?
and then they go like, it done, 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 done. But that's
Everybody
how it
stop
goes.
moving.
Everyone stop. You can watch it on HBO Max. I have not found anywhere else to watch it in the United States. I did see people on Reddit saying that it doesn't work to watch on HBO Max if you have like the package that like pairs Max with Hulu with Disney.
Yeah. You have to have like HBO Max.
The
So you have to pay
sports.
and subscribes
Yeah.
to HBO Max.
I don't have HBO Max. So if I find a link, I'll send it to you guys. I'll let you know.
HBO Max, but it's actually because it never logged me out of it on my Roku, but I have not been paying for it for months. It's just
There you
my
go.
Roku like continues to allow me to access it. So if you guys report me to HBO, I'm going to be really pissed.
You guys call Mr. Max. Starts at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on Saturday. Goes to 10 a.m. Eastern Time on Sunday. That's all I know.
So fun because then you can like get up at 10 a.m. Honestly, like I think like even if you don't give that much of a fuck about the entire race, get up on Sunday morning and watch it, because essentially the vibes is like at night they kind of do a little bit more like tire management, fuel management, like just kind of keeping the race going. But then as soon as that sun comes up, and this is how it was for the Rolex 24 too, people turn on their A game and they start racing.
The last couple like, hours are pretty cool. And this is also going to be one of my favorite things whenever there's a 24-hour race where they do like the before and afters of the cars. Be like, this was the nice shiny car we showed up with, and this is the goblin carcass of a car we're dragging home. And I'm like, yeah, let me see.
Look how haggard she is.
Ugly car, worked hard. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, they never show the haggard drivers. I would love a before and after of the drivers.
No, I don't want to see it. I think this is one of the race weekends where in my brain there is no driver in the car. It's just cars. Just cars on track. I don't want to see them. I don't want to know they're there. Just show me cars on track.
It is interesting the first couple hours of night race. I think some of the night racing can be kind of boring. But night racing, like at the beginning, can be kind of fun because you find out, like, oh, this person's headlights don't work or something. Right. And then they're just like driving in the dark, and you're like, that's bad.
I feel like in the endurance races I've watched that have gone overnight, that's where some of like the issues and the crashes start to happen as like the temperature changes drastically. We realize that half these motherfuckers don't know how to turn on their headlights. Like
it's literally survive the night. Like you wake up the next morning to see who survived the night.
Yeah. Have you ever heard? Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's. That's what it is. It's like, can you last with the animatronic spike car that's hunting you down right now?
Can you? And for a lot of them, the answer will be no. A lot of your faves are going to have mechanical issues the moment the sun goes down.
Yeah.
It's going to be your fave. Whoever you put in the comments that you're rooting for, they're now going to have mechanical issues.
I hope it's not them when they're driving, though. I'll wish that upon them. Have mercy on their souls.
I've always said that one of the saddest things about endurance driving to me is I always feel sad for whoever does crash, because it's like all these other drivers put in these like multi-hour shifts. And like usually when people crash, they'll crash like on like hour 19 or something. And you'll be like, you've already been going for 19 hours and then your fuckhead teammate decides to hit a wall. And I always feel empathy for that driver that hit the wall. In the Rolex 24, it was a lot of my faves. It was like, oh, there's Colton Herta. What is he doing in the wall?
Yeah. Pietro's car also.
Yeah, it's always like, yeah. I was like, wait, I know these people that are crashing. Oh my God, familiar fave. This will be fun also because I want to get people to like watch the Rolex 24 next year. So you guys got to train for that.
We didn't do our NASCAR fan favorite.
Oh my God, thank you for bringing it up. Okay.
Because you just said fan fave first. And it just like, yeah, you go first, and then I'll go.
I like, that was your like Winter Soldier-esque. So they've been doing these delightful videos on the NASCAR socials to prepare you guys for...
We have the same one.
We have the same one. It's okay. We have the same one. So they've been doing these delightful videos to prepare for NASCAR in Mexico City. And it's Daniel Suarez in a classroom teaching an audience of classmates about, words in Spanish, Spanish food, that sort of stuff. The classmates include Alex Bowman and Ryan Preece, but there was a cameo from a very special Austin Cindric. And
so good.
God, he's a star, guys. He's an absolute star. They haven't posted that specific video on TikTok right now. They've only posted it on Instagram. And I keep returning to TikTok to be like, I want to share this with my followers. Please post it. I want to repost it. If they do post it, can we repost it from the Laps Down account? Because it's so good.
Absolutely. It's really good. It just amazes me how much some of these drivers are willing to like put in effort in these videos. Ryan Preece really has a knack for it. Alex Bowman is doing his best.
You can't get rid of Alex Bowman because he's the only person at Hendrick with a personality.
That is true.
You guys are going to do that? You guys are going to do that to Hendrick Motorsports? They can't handle a loss like that.
No. But Austin Cindric really kind of came out of the woodworks on this one.
He's a scene stealer.
He really is. He truly is. And, like, you could tell he was being kind of bashful with it because he would, like, deliver his line and then kind of, like, he never, like, made eye contact where he was supposed to be making eye contact. Like, his eyes were always down. He'd be, like, he, like, made a snide remark about, like, I don't remember what it was, to Ryan Preece. And he just, like, laughed into the ground. And I was like, aw.
I love Austin Cindric.
I do, too. I'm still mad at him for murdering Alex Bowman today, unfortunately.
Well, he bumped Cole Custer, and then Cole Custer murdered Alex Bowman. It wasn't Austin Cindric didn't do that.
No, he didn't. He would never.
They're scene mates. He would never do that to his scene mate.
He's like, shoot, we were gonna practice lines together on our way to Mexico.
Oh shoot! It actually does bring up an interesting point. Did you see all the videos they were also posting about like the logistics of Mexico? They were given permission to like start packing up haulers early and leaving Michigan because apparently they are driving in like a little caravan from Michigan to Mexico, which I'm also like, we probably could have scheduled a race that was closer to
Texas
City. Potentially. We actually chose like maybe one of the farthest.
I think one of like 3 or 4 races that would have been.
Would be as far from from Mexico as you could get, right?
Sure.
So apparently they're all caravanning together, all of the truckers of all the haulers, which I think is kind of cute because I like to think that they have like a little community and like they'll get to like hang out and eat like breakfast together at like a Buc-ee's or something along the way.
Imagine getting stuck behind them on the interstate though.
Right. And there's going to be a lot of people that are.
Oh my God. The whole country.
And I think that they have the Xfinity ones with them too. So it's going to be like all of the Xfinity cars too. So it's like actually like probably one of the longest trucker caravans of all time. Honestly, I'd like to see it. If you guys see that on the road at all this week, please, please, please share it with us. I would give anything to see what that looks like. But they also apparently have very detailed manifests of everything that is in these haulers. Like every tool, every inch of that thing is like being declared so that they can get past the border and everything. But it is very interesting. I mean, an international race for NASCAR obviously has happened before, but not while I've been a fan. And it's interesting to see how this like plays out logistically.
There's a lot of factors going into next weekend too. There's also the manufacturers are bringing a whole different cooling system because these cars are going to be running at like a higher altitude. So they're going to have to make a decision. Yeah, they're going to have to make a decision on which cooling system they're going to use for the entirety of the like manufacturer. And just we've seen so many issues already this season. With the cooling systems.
Period. And like, we've seen so many issues.
We've just seen, we've seen a lot this season. There's also, did you hear them say there's only 12 races left to go?
In the regular season, yeah. I think the last
How long have we been doing this?
I think 12 races.
Isn't there like 30 races?
No, I guess it's 20-something. I don't know. They said it was half, MJ. I don't argue with the commentators.
I was like, wow, we've really been doing this shit for this long? That's crazy.
Oh my God, Dale Jr. is going to go to Mexico. Oh, and Carl Edwards. I hope we get some fun commentator segments of them in Mexico. I want to see Carl Edwards and Corey LaJoy on the beach. I want to see Dale Jr. living it up. I want to see some fun Mexico segments, please.
That could be fun. That could be good.
I will say I've loved the videos that they've made throughout the season 2, and I don't know if they filmed them all in one go or if every week they randomly pick some NASCAR driver and send them to Mexico.
Ship them down to Mexico.
They keep like filming these like little segments, and some of them I'm like, wait, you guys are having a lot of fun down here. Like people that you wouldn't think would have fun in Mexico because they give kind of weird conservative racist vibes, and they're having a good time. So I'm like, maybe this is like something that we needed to like unite the country. Maybe weird conservative racist fucks can just like be like, wow, Mexico's a great country. I shouldn't probably discriminate against every single person from it. I don't know. Maybe we'll learn some lessons along the way. What do you think, MJ?
That'd be great.
That'd be great. That'd be great for the country if we could pull that off.
Really good. I'm not sure NASCAR's going to be the one to do it, but I sure hope so.
Oh, but if not them, who? If not them, then who?
I don't know anybody else.
We gotta figure out how to speak to these people. I don't know. I'm just trying to solve world peace here with this NASCAR race in Mexico City.
I think the Amazon Prime broadcast could solve world peace. I'm also like starting.
Dale Jr. If not Dale Jr., then who? Who will these people listen to?
That's a great point. That's a great point. Well, they're not. That generation isn't even tuning in because they refuse to watch NASCAR on Prime.
Oh my God. I'm about to rant about NASCAR real quick.
Just what are we doing?
In my brain. Oh my God. So next week, Tuesday. Very long episode, probably. Tune in.
Probably.
Anything else?
I don't think so. I'll miss you guys.
Yeah, we'll see you guys on Tuesday. We'll miss you though.
I'll see you next
Sunday
Tuesday.
Night.
I don't know. Maybe we'll post something on our social media or something before then. I don't know. Maybe. Miss you. Okay.
Hey, we got political at the end there. Bye, everyone.